1340, part 3. Let's get into it. By shrinking my face. Okay, now that we've done that, we have our part here, and we are in the edit mode. Now what we are going to do, we are going to, let's see, we got all these different parts, and there. We're going to edit this because apparently the size was too big. So we're going to make it 1/4 of an inch. Okay, finish sketch, and now, ta-da, it's been adjusted. Now that the hole is 1/4 of an inch, we're going to get out of this edit mode. Return, top right. So now we are back into our assembly. And so now, in the Assemble tab, I missed a critical step. I had to go back and fix this. You're going to create a component. So while you're in here, you can actually make a part. And we're going to call this a box. Beautiful. And I'm going to put this in the same folder. So I want to just make sure that it's the same thing that I picked originally. I go back to my desktop, and I call it Assembly 1340, and I made a box. Save it, save it, save it, save it. Now, you'll see that a box, or it should show up here. Let's see, bearing, base plate, collar, cap screw. A box. Now it's in. I had to click it in. So I'm going to start a sketch on the YZ plane. Now, while I'm on the YZ plane, I make a box of an arbitrary size. Boom. Looks good. And now I'm going to finish that sketch. Now I can extrude. Now, I messed up, and my YZ plane does not match up with the center of the object. Doesn't matter. Pick symmetrical, 3 inches, extrude a 3-inch wide box of whatever size you wish, and then you say return. Now, it has created the part in that folder where you saved everything else. Now we're going to use the flush command to hook it up. So we use constrain, flush, and now I'm going to put this surface flat with the other surface. So boom, and boom, apply it, and now you'll see that, okay, for some reason it's acting funny on me. I want to move ahead. So now if I flush this, I say apply, good. And now, last thing I want to do is mate it. I want to make these things kiss. One here, one here. Okay. Now, we're looking good. Cooking with gas. Now that we've done this in true form, I need to undo the mate. So, in the browser, I'm going to delete the last constraint I just had. So now you should be able to move this sucker. Let me see. Free move. Move him. Great. Get out of my way. I don't want that. Now something else we got to do is we need to extend the length of our box using constraints. Something I didn't actually know that you could do. So before that, we're going to look at our cap screw 1. And we are going to check out the origin. And we got our work plane. So now I'm going to make sure that's viewable. There we go. Let's see. Auto resize. Man, show me. Show me the work plane. So I'm attempting a workaround because I'm getting there. Here I'm mating the screws to this work plane with this option, a predictive offset. It'll figure out how much it's supposed to be offset to try and figure out what you're doing. So I'm just trying to lock it in at a 90-degree angle. I'm accepting the relationship because it looks good. So now that I have this working, my hope is that it is fixing up my A-box worries. So I'm going to delete some of these that we already have. I'm going to start from the beginning, invisibility on that. So here a box should be adaptive. Here I'm going to now constrain things. I'm going to say the back of this should match up with the back of this. Here, the back of that, none of that, 0 offset because I want it to be right up on it, except the relationship. Here, here, offset 0, except the relationship. Now, here, it should mate there. And the whole purpose of this is to try and show you that if you mess up, you can extend the object size, but it's not doing it for me. So I would have to restart at the beginning, I think, in order to try and get this thing to work. I will say, if you design your pieces the way you want them to, you won't need this feature. Adaptive objects are useful because then, rather than have to go in and know the measurements, you can create things that will kind of fit the shape. I'm going to move on with this. I've never needed this in the couple of years I've used this software. So, for the purposes of assembly, you really won't need it most times. What I'm going to do is just mate this to this, apply it, and here we have our object. Now, if I were able to have this match the distance, then it would be the distance from that one screw to the edge. If I look back at my part files, I could figure out how much that was. So there's another way to do it. But at this point, we're going to save. We're going to save this monstrosity. It's an assembly. So when you open this assembly, it needs to save all your parts. If they weren't saved, say OK, yes. All right. Now we're going to make a drawing. So, File, New. Here's a drawing file. So you got different types. I'm not sure how different these really are. I'm going to go with the just a standard drawing file. And here it's going to have a paper layout. You can adjust the size of this by right-clicking Sheet 1. You can edit the sheet and you can make it a different size. Size A is your typical computer paper. I'm going to leave it at D for this. And I'm just going to say OK. OK. So you click Base. That's going to allow you to drop a base view of your object where you can put orthographic projections from it. So as you go to drop the component, here we have a component and it's got a view cube. You can set the way you want to see it using the view cube, because sometimes your orientation doesn't match the book. So I'm going to make my way up, over, and now I've got the isometric view that matches the one that's in the book. Now, you can drop that in the way it is. I'll note that you also have the box still available, so you can drop some other views of the same object doing just this. Let's see. So you got your view. Say OK. It's in. I dropped it in a different style. That's my life. So here I drop it in. I'm going to change the view again. Let's see. Let's get right there and right there. That's wrong. Let's go there. Nice. Okay. Hidden line removed. Shaded. We don't really want that level of detail. I didn't change that. I'm moving forward. Moving forward. So, what I'm going to do, you can go to sheet 1 and you can change the drawing, edit sheet, make it a B size, like I was saying before. Here we go. B. Done. Boom. Beautiful. And you know what? I don't want these, I don't want this line in my way, so I'm going to delete this thing because I don't want it. And you can also insert your own custom title block. But I need it. I need it later. So, let's go to the annotate toolbar. I swear this video is going to be used for some kind of psychological analysis, because I just feel like from the beginning to the end you can just see my brain fry a little more. So we're going to the parts list button right here in the annotate tab. When we click it, okay, in the prompt area, message select a view is displayed. Okay, select a view. The only view. It's the base view. Now you can make structured, only parts. So structured creates a parts list where subassemblies are assigned using a nested numbering system. For example, 1, 1.1, 1.1.1. The nested number extends for as many levels as needed for the assembly levels in the model. Only parts. And this creates a parts list that sequentially numbers all parts in the assembly and all things in the subassembly. So there's no subassemblies, so we're just going to select the default. So we say OK. We enable BOM view. And we're going to put it above the title block. Locks into place. Looking good. Now, we are going to right-click and edit the parts list. Now, we are going to the column chooser button here. We are going to select material. These are different columns. You click the add button and it's going to move it there. And we can move it up, we can move it down, we can move it all around. So I'm going to put it above. I'm going to match the book. So I removed description, and now I'm going to the table layout, and I'm going to say add new parts to top, which is here. I'm going to say OK, and then I'm going to set the heading placement to the bottom, and I'm going to turn off the parts list title. And I'm going to click OK. And you can line it up however you want, but it's done. We can change the material type. That's the same as it's been done before. So go to the assembly again, and now one by one we are going to we're going to change the materials. And to do that, we're going to start with the bearing, right click it, you're going to go edit, it's going to make it available to you, and we're going to eye properties. So here, eye properties, and now we are going to the physical. We're going to change the material to steel mild. Okay, that's it. We say OK. It's now changed, and you're going to change to the properties that are shown at the bottom of page 1338 for all your materials. So your object should look like mine. Now you're going to hit the balloon button, and you're going to click the bearing. Here we've made a balloon. Right click, say continue. And to make your title block, you're going to then say here, eye properties. You're going to do a summary and type in your stuff, which fills in the title block. That'll be done. You can also export your materials list, but that's all the time I have in this video.